welcome to Positive with Autism. I know it's been a while for the whole video thing. I've been a little busy, but I still post on the page and still post blogs and all the other great stuff. Today's video is about positive living, and we're starting a new video series about transition. Change. I call it change, but it's technically really transition from one thing to the next. We're going to start out with education and money and moving to a new house. There's no chronological order how everything's going to work. It's kind of my decision, as I say. We're going to start out with a story today. The story of how, when I graduated college, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I knew I was going to come to the marathon. I just wasn't sure how I was going to live on my own. How I was going to do anything or do anything at all. I had a few ideas like budgeting and stuff like that. It wasn't until I really sat down with somebody and did a budget. I have a budget now. And and I learned how to, like today I went grocery shopping. I wanted to do that stuff by slowly going over it and slowly working on a budget. And it took a while. And in preparing for this video, I tried to think about transition, from one thing to the next. How change was always incredibly hard for me, and getting a lot better. Today, I had to make a few changes, like what am I going to do? I got to get to the grocery store. I took a train and someone picked me up. I bought a little bit too much stuff I wanted to, but it happens. I'm working with somebody who this video is sort of dedicated to about how to get their son to, he just graduated high school, he's still in high school and going into transition. And this video is going to kind of work on that. I didn't really have that experience. I went to college, but we had about both, because there's two paths here. The first path is transition from high school into the job world. I did the job world. In high school, I learned about co-ops. I learned about how to clean bathrooms. I learned a lot of that cool stuff in high school because I had a transition program. And I went to college. And now I work in a place where I have all those job skills. They're kind of coming to fruition. They go through. And what it has taught me is a few basic rules. Number one, show up for work on time. Number two, be there when you say you're going to be there. Number three, work. Don't worry about anything else, work. And number four, a job is a very cool thing to have. So what do when you transition from that age of like, I'm done with high school now, I'm autistic, I'm done with high school, and yet I may not be going to college, but I have to do something. Not easy, because if you're still living with your parents still have those rules, and then you have to find out. What I had to do was, I had to break free. I'm not suggesting that you do this, but I had to see myself if I could do this. I was told you could do it and be independent, but I knew if I stayed at home, I lived in Minnesota, I was going to really depend on other people. I still depend on people here, but I'm very independent. I pay my own way. And I probably could have done it in Minnesota too, I don't know. But I just knew if I stayed where I was, what I'm doing today would probably never have been existed. And that's kind of cool to think about. So on with the transition. Transition and changing, and from like high school to that, the thing I lost when I went to college was that structure. It took me a little while, because college is structured very differently. You go to class, but no one's telling you, son, you gotta go to band, you gotta go to class. You go, because you're paying money, your parents paying you money to go. I had to buy my own book. I call my parents and ask them stuff. But they're kind of far away. I have to make decisions on the ground level. But what classes to take, were professors, and I had a lot of great academic advisors who told me, don't take him, don't take her. But that's the thing about it, I had to learn to make those decisions myself. It took me a long time, and that's the advice I give people. It's going to take a while, but really start teaching your kids money, finances, maybe not taxes, you can still pay taxes for them, but depending on the level of, what they can do. But start teaching them life skills. High schools teach life skills, but not the way it should be taught, I think. Money, budgeting, how to deal with situations with cell phones, TVs, whatever. How finances actually work, how you save money. My parents gave me a savings account when I was a kid. That was the greatest gift I ever had. That was the best thing they gave me because they taught me how to saving. My savings account, I have a CD now. Those things like that are what are important to transition. I also don't think it's healthy for the kids to sit around and do nothing all day. I've seen that. Get that child out to do something. When that person graduates from high school and they're not going into college or into the job market quite yet, you will not sure yet, they should be doing something. Sitting in their butt all day, having you do it for them, not healthy. They need to do something. A lot of it is, what do I do, how do I do this? A lot of it is that crazy worried and fear and tension, what's going to happen. I had one a couple months ago where a kid just kept asking mom questions. And that is what the situation is about. It's how to make transition. I had to ask a question, like how to budget. How to go to a food store and buy what I need to buy. When I changed my diet, I did that again. I still have to do that once in a while. I have to figure out what grains will work, what fits my money budget, what fits everything. How to live life, how to get a job, how to just do those things people do when you want to do things. Like text, how to... That transition was really hard for me, especially when I moved out here. Because I didn't have a job. I've been here 8 years now. It may surprise a lot of people, but I've been out here 8 years. And the first year I moved out here, I was in a place, I didn't know the people. The woman who cooked me, an angel in my life, because she took me and brought me into her house with the kids for a year and a half. I lived with her, and she took me grocery shopping, and she taught me that stuff. My mom taught me a little bit. I had to learn a lot of that stuff. And she taught me all that great stuff, and finally when I got a job, I learned a little bit of budgeting, and it's nice to have a paycheck, it's nice to get stuff. And the job I have now is like a lot better because I'm fully self-supporting. For me, the greatest thing about that is how it taught me like coping skills. How to cope with stuff like emotions and fear and anxiety. That transition of being myself and finding out who I am, not easy. And yet, I look at transition, and this is great, it's going to be a series because he gets to talk about a lot of stuff. But, for me, the transition of going to college was a big deal. Because I didn't have my parents. They were 2 hours away from me. They came when they came, they could call me. But they couldn't be in those social situations every day that I had to be in. To figure out how to maneuver stuff. I remember being in, I think it was either high school or college, and I went to the local Walgreens to buy something. And I didn't have enough change, but the neighbor lady helped me. That's when my parents taught me I needed to know about money. That situation. I've known so many situations people go there and they don't have enough change or whatever it is. And I don't go to that. It's like, wait, look, I have a debit card, but I want to use cash more. But it happened. But you, as parents, are not always going to be there for your kid to be in that situation. You need to teach them how to survive, like how to buy a computer. Like something that doesn't magically come into your house. You need to, show them. And that's what my parents taught me, with that stuff. And when I came out here, I learned how to clean a house. It took me a couple of years, but I learned how to clean a house. I learned how to buy things. You know, I understand the financial value of stuff now. How to save, how to not make impulse. And that's what, because of autism, I noticed a lot of times they have impulse decisions in life. Like, I need the Nintendo, or I need this TV, or whatever it is. And I take a long time before I buy big purchases. Like this camera, which I'm filming on now, took me a while to do some research on it. You know, and some other stuff on my computer. It took me a little while. I actually had to literally go to a store and see which one I wanted. That's not an impulse buy. I actually did the research on it. I actually saw what I wanted. I don't have to like go insanely crazy looking for stuff. I think I need it now because it's going to solve the problem. And that's the thing about transition. That's the tough thing with autism, is that it's unknown. The parents don't know. Whether it's going to a cooking school, whether it's going to another program where they're teaching you job skills, or going to a job, or going to community college, those are unknown. College was a great gift for me because it really taught me social skills, but it also taught me independence. I had to get up every morning. I had to buy food. I had to go to the dining hall and eat with people and socialize with other people. Jobs like that. You have to socialize with other people who may not much noise for you or whatever it is. But you have to socialize. You know, you have to let your kid be independent, and there's going to be that fight for a while. A little bit of my parents. They got to be their own thing. They got to be their own person, and they want to be their own person, but they need you, and it's just a very odd transition. A nutty, crazy transition, but it works. For me, the transition from like high school to college, even to college, to being an adult now, I'm like 34, I just turned 34 a while ago, is that I don't know the bigger picture until like today. Like I thought the bigger picture, like I had to randomly come from point A to point B to point B to come where I am today. You know, I own a pet. I went grocery shopping today. I did that stuff. I became a friend to somebody. I did some stuff. It's all part of the bigger picture. I think, one example, if your kid tells you, I don't like this job site, boring. Teach them patiently how to go through stuff that's boring. I think a lot of this generation, my generation will really want that self-gratification of right this second. It's got to happen right this second. I'm the same way. It's like, it's got to be like now. The answer's got to be right now. And I'm learning that patience, that big word, patience. If I could have like a big marker with the word patience on it, that'd be a big thing. Being patient with yourself about how it's going to work out. Give it time. And patience is a big word. Transition is going to be messy sometimes. It ain't pretty, but it's going to be beautiful. Because your son or daughter is going to grow up and see a lot of stuff. And even transition from like elementary school to middle school to high school. You know, probably going to have a special guest social we'll talk about transition of just that kind of proportion. It's just, you know, it's transition. Like moving to a new house, for example, is a very different transition because you're in a new place. When my parents got divorced, I had to transition from, you know, more about it in another video, but transition from one house to the next house and learning how to live in those two houses got a little confusing. What I did was they had two sets of clothes in two different houses, and one stuff in my dad's house, one stuff in my mom's house. I didn't have to like keep moving everything. That's what transition's like. You know, I had to like make it my own. I had to let my parents be my parents. My parents had to let me be myself. You know, did I still call them? Absolutely. Did I still ask them for advice? Sometimes. But a lot of it I tell them what I'm doing. And they're proud of what I'm doing because I did it. And that's what I'm trying to make my point here, is that there's a point where it has to be their journey. So many times the parents want it to be their journey for the kid. But it has to be your kid's journey. You know, that has to be the journey that they want to go on. It wasn't somebody else's journey that I went on. It's my journey. Transition is strengthening me that it's my journey. It's nobody else's journey. It's the journey of a powerful thing that happened to people. When change happens in my life today, I take a deep breath and go, okay, there's this transition. Transitioning from a manic person to a, oh, okay, this is gonna be okay person. It's not really easy, but it worked. You know, I could go on with great stories, but I don't know if I can on video. But for me, when I was in high school and knowing I could go to college, that was a big step for me. But also wanting that post-secondary option role when I was still in high school but in college, that I still had to listen to the IP and do that stuff. And when I finally got over that, well, there's two different wards, because I was still sort of in high school, but I wasn't going to high school. I was going to graduate from high school as that, and I was going to go to college, or whatever, you know, go to the job site. You know, two different wards. You can be the witness to those high school kids that, hey, you can do this if I did it. On the other side of the road, you're going into a new situation, but you're not the person you were when you're in high school. You have to always change. You're not the same person every day. So get out of that old rut of thinking. Start thinking, wait, I'm a kid, I'm an adult now. I get to go to a job site. I get to hang out cool things and be cool about myself. Because you can be a positive message to the world. I've been. And transition, for that time period, is very nerve-wracking, I can tell you. I really hope it's, when your kid goes for transition, that you have somebody to talk to, they have somebody to talk to. They can call me, they can email me, they can Facebook me, they can do whatever they need to do to talk about it. But they can talk to you about it. But if you get too overwhelmed, like I Mom, I know, have them call me. Have them talk to me about their question. Email me. Whatever. You know my email, benjaminlevinson@positiveliving. You know, benjamin1178@positiveliving.com. You know. I give my personal email off the thing. Like Facebook me. Whatever. But just know that the journey of transition is the beginning, and it's not really an end until you transition over. And for me, the thing about transition that I really, 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 really want to hit home is the idea that, for me, it gave me the greatest freedom. Even though I was scared to do it, it gave me the greatest freedom to do it. For me, it was like the door opened up to, like, I could do it. And it's great because you're going into the workforce. You're going to college and you're doing something that people also don't normally, or not technically do. You go to college, you go to the workforce. And you're working. And you're doing the greatest stuff in the world, and it's going to be okay. And that's the thing I tell people, families. Just teach your kids this stuff. Life skills is taught. You guys got to do it sometime. I can help you teach life skills too. I've done it. I've gone through it. I want to carry the message of life skills on to other people. Just how to learn how to live your own. You're not going to live with your parents, but how to live in your own with your parents. Kind of goofy, sounds like, but how to take care of it. How to be a contributing member of society to your family. Because they help you. You know? So, that's it. Next video will be about the wonderful transition of, who knows yet? We'll find out. But please enjoy this series. This is series 1 of Transition and Change. Series next part 2 will be more about transition and change and everything. So, thanks for the talk. You guys have a great day, and if you have questions, I'll post things on my Facebook page, and you can ask them all right, and I can give you more transition, because sometimes I can't talk about everything in one video. So, have a good night.